What is up? What is up? What it do? What it is? How you guys doing tonight? Happy Thursday, almost Friday. I am wanting to do this quick stream for you guys to go over a short that I had this morning that worked out great on Luna as it was on a Terra up. Dad jokes. And I saw that it was starting to get exhausted. I saw some warning signs and waited for the setup. And sure enough, the short worked out. And now I'm seeing another potential short setup. Also could be a good bounce at this level too. But just wanted to break down what I'm seeing so maybe I can help some of the newer beginner traders see what I'm seeing and start identifying the same type of trades for yourself so you can start making more money, because that's the name of the game. Not in it because I love it. I do love it, but really trying to make some money. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. So right here, I've got the Luna chart pulled up, and I'm going to just show you what I'm seeing right now. So in case you're interested in jumping in right now, you can make your own decision. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. Never take a trade off of somebody else's advice. Has to be coming from your own research, sir or madame. But what I see right now is a double top, and this is on the 1 hour time frame. You can look at it 4 hour time frame. Looks the same, but basically where you draw the neckline would differ a little bit depending on which time frame you're looking at. So pick a time frame, play off that. For now, I'm going to look at the 1 hour because the 4 hour doesn't close for a while. Could even look at the 2 hour, and the 2 hour actually closes in 30 minutes. So let's look at the 2 hour. So 2 hour double top, and essentially here's the neckline, very straightforward. Anytime you see this M looking pattern, that is usually the sign of a reversal or potential reversal. It's not a reversal. It's not a pattern you should short until there's a confirmed close beneath this neckline. And honestly, for me, I like to see volume coming through on the close. That shows me that the bears are looking to follow through on this trend, and there should be continuation, at least for one candle, two candles. And it's not to say it couldn't bounce very quickly, because look, at the end of the day, when you're trading altcoins, you're not trading Bitcoin. The world revolves around Bitcoin. We are the earth and Bitcoin is the moon. So you have to, or I should say, altcoins are the moon and Bitcoin is the earth. Well, let's try that again. My planet analogies suck. We revolve around the sun. So the sun is Bitcoin, and it actually matches the color. So I would say that really just always keep an eye on Bitcoin, because if you don't know what Bitcoin's doing, if it all of a sudden is breaking through a level and this short setup is already close through the neckline, well, guess what? You might get wrecked because it might reverse real quick if Bitcoin's running. But as of right now, Bitcoin is looking dull, and it has broken through some low time frame support. So I'm looking for altcoins to short in the interim and keeping an eye on Bitcoin. If it does want to break back up, then I'll probably monitor the short a little bit closer. But for now, we're good. So right now I'm looking at this because we're getting close to the hourly close. And if it closes below here, it looks like about a 6% gap between the next support level. And it's subjective, however you would want to play it. For me personally, I'd probably be playing on the 1 hour time frame on this one and look to get in and get out for a quick 6% on leverage. I usually do anywhere from 10 to 20% leverage. On this one, with it being a little bit further of a spread, I'd probably play 10% leverage and minimal to medium risk here with my trading stack. And I feel really good about this if it does break down with some volume. Right now, you can see that the volume is declining. That's another sign. As we reach a new high, we are almost at the all-time high. We literally hit maybe 1 cent above or at the exact top of the other all-time high. If I zoom out, you can see from over here, we just passed and hit an all-time high. And on that next attempt to break to a new all-time high, we got stopped. So that sharp rejection showed me that essentially we're going to be reversing. So as it stands right now, good trade opportunity if it breaks this and closes below this neckline. Where I saw this reversing up here, I will delete everything and zoom in. And rewind. So as you can see here, we had a nice run up, and then now we're correcting, healthy little correction, consolidating here, starting to bottom out, and there's no trade for me yet. So fast forward a little bit, and you can start to see that, oh, we're on another run up. Are we going to break to new all-time highs and keep running? Well, that's the question. So this is where I started to get interested to see what was going to happen. And I noticed that there was this sharp rejection. And so now I'm interested about potentially shorting, because if it gets rejected and there's an obvious candlestick pattern up here that would signal a reversal, that would be where I'm going to enter. So as you can see here, I'm going to highlight something for you guys. Where'd it go? It's annoying. As you can see here, that right there and this right here, we're looking very similar. And so I was keeping an eye. This is right where I started to look for this short opportunity to get in. This is an evening star pattern, and it usually signals a top, and it did right here. Let's see if there was any, and there was a little bit of bearish divergence right here. Here, not so much. But on the hourly, definitely distinctly, you could see that there was another evening star pattern forming. And once the candle closed, boom, I knew that I was good to go. I did see that there was going to be a support here potentially. We broke up here, found support, broke down, then broke back up. So I wanted to get a confirmation of a close below this level personally, to have a horizontal level to have my risk reward, my exit strategy aligned to. So it was super clean. So fast forward a little bit, got the bounce off that level like I was thinking it could happen. And that's why I wanted to wait. Otherwise, I might have had to stretch my stop loss all the way up to this wick from here, and that would have been sorry guys, yeah, about a 5% stop loss, where if I wait for this entry, it could be a lot better. So waited, and so got the candle close below, a little bit further down than I'd want to enter. So I started scaling in as I saw the hourly close was getting close to closing below this level. I went ahead and scaled in and was ready to manually exit if it came back above. And then on the retest, added the rest of my position over here. And as you can see, it got close, added a little bit more here. And this is where my short was about right here. And I wanted to play it to this level right here. So you can see that this is a very, very, very nice risk reward. And I played it. I originally had my stop above this peak, so it was about 4%. And so the risk reward was about let's call it 3-to-1 roughly. So really, guys, whenever you're seeing at tops and bottoms these type of candlestick patterns, the reverse of this would be a morning star pattern, which is also a sign of a reversal, and it would just be flipped upside down. But there's a number of different patterns that you can look up. You can just Google it: reversal patterns, candlestick patterns. You can, save it on your desktop, print it out, put it on your desk. If you're, getting into trading, save it on your phone under your favorites so that you can always refer back to it. And the more times you look at them, the easier it'll get to identify these type of reversal patterns and bullish and bearish, continuation patterns. So, this is not what I'll trade off of solely, but I use it in confluence with other indicators and other level breaks to strengthen my case. It's like you're a detective and you're trying to essentially build a strong case to short or long your positions. And so here, that was good enough for me, breaking this level and seeing that, and also just declining volume coming at support at the all-time high there. So the rest of the game, how it's played out. We're here now, and basically I have not been stopped out yet, but I'm really wanting to play it down to this level. I like my entry. I've already taken a little bit of profit, and move my stop down to about here. But I'm going to play the rest of it, hoping for this break right here. 4 hour is going to be right there, and the 2 hour and 1 hour are about the same right there. But the 1 hour and 2 hour will come first. It may come down to the 4 hour close till we'll finally get to this point. But there's always a good opportunity that this could not fall through, and this is where we continue. So another thing that I look for when we're near price discovery is I'll pull out a Fibonacci. So let me zoom out a little bit, and I will go from here to here and kind of map out where we're at. And as you can see, we're bouncing off of the previous peak. And so I like Fibonacci as a confluence to everything else I'm seeing, just because if you're not familiar with Fibonacci, it's a mathematical numbers that appear in life and in the world and everything, in art, in nature. And essentially they were able to apply this sequence to a charting tool where more times than not, you will see when you pull from a swing high to a swing low, or a low to a high, that either the retracement tool or the extension tool will show that price action bounces off of these levels a lot of times. And again, this is just one tool. It's not something that I would recommend you trade off of solely, but when you have just a few tools in your toolbox that you're very familiar with and you get used to and you trade with all the time and you perfect, having, like I said, as a detective, having all of those check marks being met, and it's, essentially built your case to jump into the trade. It makes your educated guess in getting a trade, because you're not going to get it all right. Even if it meets all your criteria and you're a badass and you do this all the time, you're going to get wrong a lot. But because it's very refined and it's essentially back tested and you've done it over a period of time and you've worked out the kinks, it's going to work out for you a lot of times. And especially if you make sure that your risk management is pristine, really the risk part of it needs to be like really ironed out and perfected too, because if you're risking too much all the time, essentially you're kind of gambling. And if you're really tight on your risk and have figured out how to maximize reward in each one of your trades and the ones that you do win, you can lose more times than not and be a winning trader. And so that's really what it's all about. identifying the setups that work for you and figuring out the style that works for you, and then just sticking with it and perfecting it. But as you can see here, boom, perfect bounce off of the previous top, and then rejected here again off of the 1414, coming back here. So we could definitely do this and out, or this could be where we fall through and get a bounce here and come back down. But I'll be watching for that. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up on what I'm seeing here. Let me see what you guys are saying. I see the double top in your shoulders there, and other indication then fall. I wanted to keep this as a downtrend versus uptrend. Is there any other indication? So I wouldn't call this a downtrend at all. So let me zoom out a little bit. So for me, just, and let me cancel that. So I know a lot of people and a lot of traders will use moving averages as an indicator for what the trend is. Is it up or down? If it's above the 200 moving average, is it golden cross, the death cross, the 50 passing the 200 MA. Personally, for me, I'm all about simplicity. Just look at the chart on a high time frame, and what do you think it looks like? So if we were here, we're trending up still, and you can see we got a bounce here. So we're still in an uptrend, but zoomed in on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, you can see that, like, if we were right here, sorry guys. All right, there we go. So if you're zoomed in, we're on a downtrend on the 4 hour, but on high time frames like daily and weekly, we were still in an uptrend. Now this weekly, if it breaks below here, that's where I'd say we've broken market structure. And I would say we're still in uptrend on Luna, even on high time frames. But it really depends on the time frame you're looking at too. But we're in an uptrend. I mean, right, as it stands right now, we are definitely in an uptrend with Luna. And it's just a matter of, is this going to get exhausted, or are we going to keep going forward? And so for like the best advice I could give is, don't try to jump the gun and predict anything. Just look at what price is telling you and look for red flags. And so for me, the first one, right, is when you're looking at this leg up, well, you've got high, higher high, higher high, lower high, or a higher low, higher low. And so we could be coming down here and setting a higher low again. The moment we break below here is when you're concerned. That would signal to me a downtrend is now begun. A true reversal has begun, especially considering that over here, we're at all-time highs right now. And you could also argue on the daily, if we close below on this next daily below this peak, that would be a red flag for us to just have a little upthrust here and then a swing failure pattern. This daily close would also be a red flag to me. It wouldn't be a complete signal of a downtrend, but it would be a really big red flag personally for me. And on a high time frame, I would look to probably be scaling out of Luna a little bit personally, and then re-enter upon a break back up. But there's so much time on this daily candle, who knows? And a lot of it's going to be really come down to what Bitcoin does. But if you're into Luna, definitely keep an eye on this daily close as that could be a red flag. And yeah, and this weekly looks really healthy too. I mean, just straight up, still potential to have a weekly all-time high. So don't jump the gun, just look for red flags. And like I said, the daily right there, that would be the beginning of a red flag for me. Fair, try to get 3-4 points in one level. What are my indicators? One guy, Old Faithful. And if I find 2 more indicators in alignment, jump. I read the same short op and a 96 entry op to follow. 786, you know it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for me, I don't necessarily have a number anymore. I just, for me, if it's like 2 strong ones, or if I'm seeing a bunch of different ones, like I've seen, so when I first started trading, I tried to learn all the tools and apply all the different tools. Like, I mean, I'll show you right here. I have all these saved, and I tried to implement all these moving averages. And really all that I did was confuse myself, because one would say one thing and then the other one would say that we're still bullish. And so, and then, you know, price is going down, but there's bullish divergence. And so there's so many things. And like I said before, it's just better to just kind of pick your poison and stick with it. So so really for me, it's, if I'm scalping, I use RSI, OBV, look for divergences. I look at the candlesticks at the tops to see if we're losing steam at a peak, and then swing failure patterns and then candlestick patterns. Those, I would say those 4 or 5 things are big ones for me on scalping. But on swing trades, I look at daily and 4-hour timeframes. And then I look at, really, it's just super basic key levels, horizontal levels. I look at diagonals. Occasionally I'll look at moving averages. I like some EMAs. I like super trend. But really I don't ever start with that. I look at the horizontal levels, and then, so like right here, I can see this is a very clear horizontal level on Luna. So, you know, I'd be watching this level. If it gets back to here, I'm looking for, is this going to be a good long setup? You know, is it going to be creating a new base down here? Is it rounding out? Are we getting some divergences? You know, and then where are the moving averages? Have we been reacting to a certain moving average a lot? That this could also bounce off of. Super trend is another one that I like to look at too. But I never use these to enter a trade. I just use it in confluence with where we're at on price. So if we break above a level, that's where I first start with my confidence. And then I look at the volume coming through that level, and then I'll look at these indicators, a few of them, just to see if any of them support my thesis. And a lot of times, you know, I'll find a couple and I'm like, okay, so it meets the criteria, I'm going to jump in. I don't even think about it anymore. Once I've met my criteria, I jump in and try to be super unemotional. You know, I set my stop like right here. I list it out so I can see it on the chart, you know, where it's at. I go in, set the stop loss on, I use KuCoin, I use Femex, I use Bybit, I use a couple others, but whatever it is, I just set it and try to forget it. Sometimes I get a little emotional when I see it run real hot. I'll jump in and manually take a little bit, move my stop, you know, do a little trailing stop. But for the most part, man, on these high time frame swing trades, I just, I like it because I trade on spot, and I'm just not too worried about getting stopped out. I just wait for the 4-hour candles to close on these high time frame trades intraday. I'll start with daily time frame and then zoom in 4-hour and just watch the levels. And if there's a break above, then I'll jump in with, you know, the confluence of some other indicators, and then I'll just let it play out. You know, if it falls below, chops around, I just wait till the candle close. And, you know, I can take a hit on some big pumps and dumps through those levels. But I like the stress-free nature of not having to worry about getting stop hunted or liquidated, and having to have super tight stops with being on high leverage. So when I do leverage, I'm just looking to get in and get out and scalp. I don't like to mess. I would go to bed with leverage and have no stop and just be like, oh, you know, Bitcoin's going to keep going up. It's never going to drop, you know, 10% from here. We're just going to keep mooning, and had my account liquidated twice doing it that way. But that was the fire that got under my butt that finally taught me the lessons that I've learned today that I really, really am hoping to impress on anybody that's watching what I'm doing. Is just don't make the same mistakes that I did. Risk management, get super good at that, because if you can get good at learning your exit strategy and sticking to it and sticking to a strategy and just being disciplined, I mean, those are the things that make successful traders, not, hitting home runs on every trade, because you're not going to hit home runs on every trade. And, the ones that you do, those are great, but those aren't the ones that are going to keep growing your account. Slow and steady wins the race in trading, in my opinion. Let's see, definitely think Luna is on the way up. I'm on the 30-minute chart. The mechanics can be different than the swing trade. Large chart Luna isn't even in the same playing field as anything but Casey. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of finish up with just looking at Bitcoin, see where we're at here. So I'll just go over what I've been watching. If you've seen what I've been posting, you already know, but essentially I've been watching these major levels as we got up here, and I shorted the heck out of these positions and closed all my stop up here, started loading my bags over here. Not as much over here, because I didn't really know that there was going to be this zone that we were going to be in for such a long time. Since the beginning of time, since January, we have been down in this zone this whole damn year. So this is the trading zone we're in right now. And really, until it changes, the name of the game is start looking for longs down here. And you can dollar cost average into a position down here and cut your losses if it closes on a daily time frame below here. I mean, that's not a bad strategy at all. Proportionately scale in. Or, you just start looking for like a true bottom signal. The only problem is, you're going to have to zoom in a little bit, because you can see these daily candles have been explosive, and you're really missing the trading opportunities if you wait, because golly, I mean, some of these from the bottom, we're almost going from the bottom to the top. 14% daily candle there. From the bottom there's almost no sign on a daily time frame. 11% up to past the middle of the range there. So I mean, you're really having to zoom in and get in a little bit closer to have caught some of the bottoms. So that's why I'm saying sometimes it's better just when you see a range to dollar cost average in, so that you don't get caught like this. I mean, this is kind of a rare deal where it just pumps 3 times. This is a smaller pump, but 3 straight times we had humongous pumps up on daily candles. So once you start seeing some chop at the bottom and the bulls are coming in with volume, I mean, you can see there. Let's do this. There. Let's see. Yeah. So there's definitely the highest volume has come in at the bottoms and right here and at the tops. So the bulls and that's what's happened is the bulls have a very clear level to defend, and the bears have a very clear level to defend, and that has created this range. So until we stretch the range out, we're going to stay in this parallel channel. And it's not super clean, but this is what I'm seeing. So from about right there. Oh, shoot. Yeah, right there. This is my OCD. I got to get it straight. All right. So yeah, we're almost back to the bottom, and here the median, look, I mean, we've been shredding straight through there. So that's why it's been working for me just to start buying proportionally positions down here. And then I'll just unemotionally cut my losses if we have a daily close below 36.8. But there is one other thing to mention here. Outside of this channel, we are potentially in what, and again, these patterns are very subjective. That's why I like horizontal levels, because you can't really argue a horizontal level. If there's multiple touches on a horizontal plane, I mean, it is what it is. It's a horizontal level. Like, this is a significant level, and there's nothing you can tell me about it. Boom, 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 boom. And then we've been shredding through here, but it's a level of interest no matter what. Here, this could be a rising wedge, right? Or this could be an ascending triangle. We could draw from here, call that, two fake outs here, and call this symmetrical triangle. I mean, personally, the way I'm trading it is more of an ascending triangle, just because there is such a clear, like, horizontal defense up there. And even though I usually go off of candle bodies for the most part, but we got rejected here, rejected here, rejected here, rejected here, with some up thrust through here that signaled a top reversal. But above 44.5 to me is going to be big. I mean, I do think that we're going to have to fight through here a little bit for sure. It's like the 46K, 46.5 level. Yeah, more like 46K. That's definitely going to be another one. But I mean, I think the bulls are going to have a lot of strength into that move if we finally break through here. What I think could happen is, if we do break through here, we might like blow up to the top here and come back down here. And this is really where the bulls will have to defend, because we don't want to come all the way up here then fall back through, because at that point, man, I feel like the follow through, the bears will have just so much strength to come to the very bottom of this range if we did get back up here. But we still got to hold the line here. So that's basically what I'm seeing, guys. Right now, nothing different. I mean, really, we're still in this range, and until we break out of this range, I'm going to keep playing the same old game. Let's see what definitely my view. See what you got. Luna. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at your super buy. I'm just looking at your post right now. It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that could play out. Let me jump back to Luna and just look at that. And you're looking at I don't see your time frame. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, to me, I mean, the more I'm looking at it with declining volume, we had such a nice move up to here, and then we had that humongous red candle right there, and we pushed through, but the volume started just completely getting exhausted. And with Bitcoin at the bottom here, if it bounces, look, I mean, here's the deal. If Bitcoin goes back up to the top of this range, especially an out, then we're looking at Luna and we're saying, okay, unless Luna breaks down while Bitcoin consolidates at the bottom, that's the other thing, is Bitcoin consolidates, then it allows altcoin setups to play out, right? So you always have to have a pulse on Bitcoin. But I think if Bitcoin does rebound, then that post that you just showed me, I think Luna is going to stretch out to new all-time highs. And then, we're looking at, maybe playing it all the way up to 130. let's see. Actually, let's go out to the weekly here. Let's look at this. Yeah, I would say like 130, 140 if we played it to 1618 on the weekly. If we get a weekly close above here, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But man, what was kind of interesting today, and man, you look at these weekly candles on Bitcoin, it's been like so terrible. Golly, that last week was gnarly, just so nasty. And obviously there's so much more to consider that since Bitcoin's been around that has not really had to been considered. I mean, you got the whole ordeal with Russia and Ukraine. You got, borderline recession and crazy inflation across the globe. There's just been so much. And then plus, COVID's still there. It's not really talked about as much anymore, but there's just a lot of turmoil. Commodities are crushing it. So there's just a lot of FUD out there. So that can just swing price. And really, there's like every week or every month the CPI comes out, and it's just like every month is getting worse in the US with inflation and the price of goods rising, and just the continual printing money. Biden just got $1 trillion bill submitted to him for approval to help fund Ukraine and some other things. So it's just never ending. So that's kind of what's going on with all this volatility. I mean, for me personally, that's kind of what I'm thinking is driven some of these wild springs and pullbacks. But where we're at right now, it's anyone's guess. I don't have a crystal ball, and I don't care to have one. I just look at the price action, and if it breaks a price action, if it breaks a level, then I know I need to, if I'm in a trade, I need to cut losses. But if it breaks through and I'm looking at the setup for a long, that's when I enter. That's the name of the game. Just keep it simple, maybe, baby. KISS. KISS. But guys, I appreciate you watching. I will be jumping on next week. If you're not already, catch me on some of the other platforms. I've got my social media listed on here. But thank you for watching. And if you guys ever want to DM me, you're looking at an altcoin chart and you're just wanting another set of eyes to see what I'm thinking, feel free to share. I'm always down to help. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the flip side.